With unmatched terrain and jaw-dropping lines, Haines, Alaska has emerged as the ultimate proving ground for big mountain riding. Each spring, the greatest names in skiing and snowboarding are drawn to the insane terrain and conditions only found here. And the team from Warren Miller was no exception. The crew has ventured to Haines with local AK hero Ryland Bell and Alaska first-timer Cam Fitzpatrick.
I really like super steep spines, and this is like the spot for super steep spines.
It's crazy to kind of fathom how big this terrain is, and coming to Alaska is definitely the pinnacle of every snowboarder and skier's career.
They're teaming up with a no-frills heli-op who's guided crews here since the beginning, but they'll soon find out. There are no guarantees in Alaska.
You got to learn the rules and use all the chess moves you can when you're out here.
It's not always game on. You got to be patient. You kind of need to put the time in to really get a good film segment out of AK. My name is Sean Dog. I started heli skiing in Alaska back in the 80s. The whole atmosphere of Alaska back then was kind of wild, kind of raw, very Alaskan. My first partner, Bruce Griggs, and we got into the filming side of things. In fact, that's how we started. We weren't really a guiding business in the beginning. We were like, Warren Miller wannabes. That very first film we made was from the very first 2 years in Valdez. So it captured all of the first descents in Valdez that were happening.
So we're in Valdez, what do you think? Looks like we got some pretty rad mounts around here that need to be torn to shreds.
We tried to operate out of Juneau for 10 years. Alaska's known for weather, and Juneau was especially cloudy and rainy. I always knew that up the Lynn Canal, the weather was better, and I started a heli ski operation here in Haines, Alaska back in 2001. We're just sort of Alaskan all the way.
Yeah, we're just here on the ferry on the way to Haines. This has been kind of in the works for, 10, 15 years. It's not like it's a new place on the map for skiing or snowboarding, but for us, we've always had kind of different opportunities when we're in Alaska, and it never really worked out to come here, so I'm really excited that we get a chance to do that.
I'm joining Cam Fitzpatrick from Jackson and another fellow snowboarder and kind of Alaskan legend, Ryland Bell. And Ryland, he's got a lot of experience here. He's Alaskan himself, grew up in Fairbanks.
Growing up out here commercial fishing in Southeast, I definitely grew up with a strong work ethic. My parents put me to work. I grew up on the boats. I slept on the boat. We lived on the boat 6 months of the year. I like living out here and just appreciating nature and then getting to be so one-on-one with it, whether I'm in the mountains or out in the ocean.
Cam, being from more of a freestyle background, though he's from Jackson and has a great deal of big mountain experience, he doesn't have kind of the Alaskan spines and super steeps.
To get the call to come to Alaska was a dream come true, to say the least. It's the pinnacle, it's the pinnacle of every snowboarder and skier's career. Arriving here in Haines was pretty special. It was actually dumping when we got here.
I think renting a minivan was going to be a terrible idea. Now I'm very concerned.
Day one, here we go. Minivan, one-wheel drive. Ryland just showed up.
I know, but your face.
Eyes.
Bummer. The only available rental car for us was the Voyager right there. Turns out it's two-wheel drive and the tires are
summer tires, it appears. We were stuck in this parking lot. It's absolutely flat. Probably a poor choice on my part to get the minivan. You're not voyaging very far.
In Haines, I'd say a good proportion of the people are fishermen, mostly gill netters here. Yeah, it's a major part of life here. The locals are always like, you can tell when the heli skiers show up because there's all these puffy coats like all around town. And the real locals here where they're just like, I'm just like trying to make it work up here in Haines. I'm a logger or a fisherman or I work at a mine.
Have you ever seen what they do up there? You seen any of the
I've
films?
seen some of the films, you know. Yeah, pretty crazy. I mean, yeah, they're... You gotta be nuts, man.
Have they been a good influence on the town, you think?
You know, if you haven't been here before, Haines is kind of hard to imagine. It's super remote and it's really small. There's maybe 1,000 people, one bar, one stoplight. There's not really much happening here, but come April, there's kind of this crazy migration of all the superheroes of skiing and snowboarding. And when they arrive, they just transform the town. It's just crazy.
In general, like it helps Haines because Haines doesn't have a lot going on winter, springtime, so get a little influx into the economy, help people out, and then all the people that get to come here and enjoy these mountains.
Haines has been visited by pretty much every pro skier and snowboarder on the planet over the years, and these guys are the ones that opened it up to the world and showed the world what was here.
Geographically, this is a very unique location. You know, we're sitting here at the top of the Lynn Canal, the deepest fjord in North America, and basically that waterway, where it ends, is where the town of Haines sits, and you have the ocean colliding with the mountains, and you've got some of the most featured terrain on the planet.
I think what separates Haines from other parts in Alaska is it's like this bookshelf of peaks and spines. You don't have to fly very far. As soon as you peek over that ridge, it is just mountains as far as the eye can see, close little flights, and then you have these big coastal storms that come in and just smack into them and plaster the snow onto some of the steepest vertical you can imagine.
Haines was founded on film crews and pushing the limits.
My first handful of years up here, there'd be 10 or 12 film crews in town, and you know, we used to basically race each other to the lines. It got so competitive.
It was rowdy. You had all these crews like MSP and TGR, and all snowboard crews, standard, and the terrain and the mountains, the features you find up here in Haines is like no other place.
We just left my house at 26 Mile Haines Highway. Sort of Haines Town is at the ocean, and then you hit all these mileposts. As we go further out, there's 33 Mile, which is where all the heli sort of originated around here. It used to be Sean Dog and his partners based out of there. When I was 18, I got a longline job fishing for halibut, and I fished half of February and into March. And then in April, I took my money and I came up here. And back then, it was way more Wild West. I would just go out to 33 Mile and sit there and just try and join groups because I was just like a solo kid and just trying to learn the terrain. And so now it's just awesome to like come back and be here and get to go ride all the cool stuff that I want to ride.
The sun's poking out. These guys have had a lot of weather this winter, it sounds like. So just stoked to be here. Stoked to be out here with Rylan. And just see, man, the jitters are coming. I've heard of the AK jitters. I feel them.
You gotta know your lines. You gotta be able to scope it once you're on top. It's like so crucial. You're up there and you think you like got it totally memorized, but you get to the top and it's like, gulp.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of those moments.
Yeah. You're like, oh, wait.
From all the stories I've heard, people wait weeks upon weeks to sometimes get in the heli, and here we are going out day one.
You go in the triple shot, looking at it.
Yeah.
Depending on wind, obviously, for everything today.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then maybe swoop up towards Japan spines.
Okay. I'm unfamiliar with that one, but yeah.
It's just the head of Glacier Creek.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Ryland has spent a lot of time in the mountains around here and has a really unique approach. I mean, he's an amazing rider, but he can just see the terrain in such a different way. And it's amazing to be around him when he's assessing his line, because what he's looking at is, to most people, unrideable.
The Barbie shot, the barbecue shot, came about many years ago. Don Brolin, we were filming ski flying in northern Michigan at Iron Mountain. DB, Don Brolin, was set up at the back of the parking lot with a 600mm lens, and next to him was a camper with a bunch of barbecues and the spectators enjoying the beer and the barbecue. They subsequently fed and probably provided beverages for DB, so that became known as the Barbie shot. Set up at a great distance from your subject, probably set up a barbecue and have a nice little feast right here.
I actually did my first tow-in on a heli. That's when you get out of the heli without it like setting down kind of on a knife ridge. Really got that feeling of like when they take off, you really feel alone up there. 3, 2, 1, cam dropping.
Day 2 here, 8. We have a lot of clouds in the mountain.
The helis are all tucked in right now. They got their covers on, so I don't know if they're gonna be uncovered today. I'm just waiting for weather.
It's just a crazy game we're playing here, and it's not gonna work out the way you want all the time. You just have to be open to letting it flow and go along for the ride.
It is really easy to get sort of twisted up about it and be like I want to get out here and I need to do my thing and whatever, but I've just learned that you just have to be patient and just like not really worry too much about it. You just wait and fingers crossed.
This is a new form of down day lodge life that I haven't really experienced before. We got sleds, towing sleds, house surfers, snow skates. People just trying to, stay busy out here.
Stuffs it! You're so close! My daughter, Juniper's 8, and she grew up basically here at 35 miles since she was about a year and a half old. Yeah, she's a free-range Alaska kid for sure. She's sort of the boss around here. And she's got a whole farmyard full of animals and all the ski partners she could ever want. And she's already forming her own heli ski groups. I'm honored I'm in her group.
This is midnight. This is snow. Wait, no, this is Booter. This is ice.
It's funny, you think about these lodges and heli operations, and it seems like they're all very, high class with like lodges and dinners and all this stuff. And Sean Dog, he's sticking to the roots, and he's sticking to his personality, and yeah, wouldn't really want it any other way for the first time being in Alaska, to be honest.
While all the other operations are kind of going for the posh experience, Sean Dog's keeping it fully the Alaskan vibe, and the down days are a perfect example of that.
just enjoying everybody's company out here. It's a good vibe, and just trying to entertain yourself as best you can.
Puffy clouds are getting blown away here, and it's setting up to possibly be a pretty nice afternoon.
There, that's what we need right there. What day is that?
Afternoon.
I think we're gonna go heli skiing.
Here we go. Another one. What's gonna happen today?
We've been guiding film crews, for 28 years now, and the whole thing about guiding film crews is, you've got a filmer, you've got the athlete, they're trying to produce something, right? What a guide has to do is get in between all that and be the middleman between the filmer who's trying to produce a film and the rider who's trying to ride the best snow, and he's somehow got to be in the middle of that to make sure it's safe.
There's a lot of hazards out here. Moving snow is a huge thing that we worry about up here, that we watch for. It's one of our most significant exposures. So it's a lot about slope angles, and then obviously where the snow's gonna end up and how that's gonna be for you when that happens.
Are you gonna try to pull up and let your slough go, or are you just gonna point the whole thing, or?
I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on it, but I think it's probably gonna run pretty fast.
It's gonna
so
be sloughing.
I'm gonna probably let it go through.
Okay, great.
Maybe ride high, let it kind of cruise through, and then point it out.
So you have kind of a good high spot that you like?
Yep.
Okay, cameras are ready. If we could get someone to count you down there, Cam, that'd be great.
You get to the top and you literally can't see what's happening below you. I mean, you take photos from the helicopter, you try to get everything dialed as far as your route and everything, but once you're up there, everything changes a lot.
Dropping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Camera in, entering the film.
First couple turns in, the whole face just spider beneath my feet.
If you're gonna come to Alaska or come to Haines, you really have to know what you're doing and be with the right crew, because it can change in a heartbeat.
Yeah, dude, nice work. Oh. Sorry to lay that on you.
Glad I got out.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you can just come this side of those tracks, head feet or so.
Yeah, bud.
Being able to come out here and ride with Ryland in his home territory exceeded my expectations by so much. Just watching that guy ride and seeing the terrain out here has been one of the coolest experiences of my career.
Oh, that felt so good. Right on, Cam. You got this, buddy. Oh, my God.
The Alaska heli experience out there at 35 Mile is perfect. It's exactly what I think the ski world needs, and they're keeping it simple, keeping it fun. Pretty cool to be at the OG spot.
We held on to that raw vibe that was here in the very beginning. That's probably what sets us apart a little bit. We're just Alaskan. I'm more here for the core of the industry. The hardcore ski bums are who we tried to attract. I think we're the closest thing to that energy we all felt in the beginning of heli skiing in Alaska.